Let's start this show. I got 2 pieces of fantasy trivia.
Ooh.
These get better as the year goes on. So now that we're near the end, it's kind of nice because you got to figure these out. Let's see if you get them.
I'm ready.
In standard leagues, all right, so this is me. In standard leagues, I have never eclipsed 20 points in a game this season. However, I'm a top 10 player at my position. My longest catch of the season has been 35 yards. I've only reached the 100-yard mark 1 time this season, and I haven't had a multi-touchdown game since 2013. Who am I?
My last chance. I don't know who it is, but I know who my answer is for sure, and I think every listener knows who my answer is.
No, I don't know who your
What?
answer is.
You should.
Should I?
Yes.
Oh.
I asked last week.
Oh, okay. I know where
This
you're
sounds
going.
like him. Do you have a guess?
My guess would be it's a tight end. It would be my guess. I don't have let me have that little sheet there.
Here's your little sheet.
Throw out your guess.
My guess is finally the man, the myth, the legend, the answer to every question, Eric Decker.
Has only been 35 years. I don't think there's any possible way this is Eric Decker.
The 35 yards was the thing that threw me off, but I'm pretty confident that he's only had 100 yards.
Would you like me to give you the answer?
If it's Eric Decker, I sure would.
The answer is Eric Decker.
Oh, really?
Yes. Eric Decker has
35
finally.
yards?
That is his longest catch of the year.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That is.
So finally, I mean, what a season for Eric Decker. He is just tried and true. He reminds me of, the kind of consistency you used to see from like an Anquan Bolden when he was running alongside Larry Fitzgerald.
I believe on our main sleeper show before the draft, our last sleeper show, he was your number 1 pick.
Oh, man. I loved him. But, I mean,
very good.
Just like everyone saw coming at the beginning of the season, the high-powered Jets offense was going to produce 2 top 10 wide receivers.
We thought
we
that
saw
once
that coming.
Geno Smith went down. All right, last one for you. 2015 has not been my best fantasy season. I started off really hot, proving why fantasy owners took me as the 8th player off the board at my position. Then I became ice cold, only eclipsing 75 yards twice since week 4. And in standard leagues, I'm not even a number 1 receiver on my team anymore. I had more touchdowns in week 3 than I had in my last 12 games combined. Who am I?
Ooh, easy peasy.
Jason is good at this game.
My brain is it was one of those nights.
Yeah,
everybody
you did mention that.
With the kids, it was one of those nights, so the brain is not firing at maximum capacity.
I'll give you a hint.
Not for especially not for trivia right now.
The reason this is so easy to me is because he is on my roster in our league of record. Still, I didn't drop him. I wanted to. I thought about it.
Oh, okay.
But he's still there.
The great mystery that is
Randall Cobb?
Is Randall Cobb.
I remember the 3-touchdown game, and I was like, yeah, this guy's got to be great.
Randall Cobb is somebody that we've debated a lot in the studio in terms of what is he now, what will he be when Jordy Nelson returns. It's been a disappointing year for him. Obviously, the opportunity seemed like it was right in front of him. This is an offense that's always been a buzzsaw. We didn't see Aaron Rodgers having career lows across the board. But he did.
Right.
And now Randall Cobb doesn't seem to be able to get the separation he had been getting, or maybe he's getting more defensive coverage than we are giving him credit for. Either way, he's just not been involved. He's not been a core part of the offense, and he certainly hasn't put up – he had one big game in week 3, I think it was, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big endorsement of Jordy Nelson being great and being a great part of that offense and what really makes a move.
Do you think so?
I think so.
Do you think that's the – I mean, like
that's what
percentage-wise, what percentage do you give to Jordy Nelson being gone as to why they've struggled?
I would put a gigantic portion.
Yeah, what the number that came to my head was 80%. I thought it early on in the year. This is why about halfway through the year I said the reason that their offense is struggling is because Devontae Adams stinks. Because it seems to me that what they are lacking is a true wide receiver 1. They don't have a number 1 wide receiver, and that team needs it.
You know who hasn't had one in a long time?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, well.
You think Tom Brady, he's
think
never had those weapons.
Different style
Well,
of
Tom Brady
offense.
doesn't have a wide receiver 1, but Tom Brady has Rob Gronkowski. I mean, you saw what happened to the
Aaron
offense.
Rodgers has Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb is not Gronkowski. Randall Cobb is not a guy who by himself can take over a game.
What I don't want to do is I don't want to scapegoat the situation and take away responsibility from, Eddie Lacy was a part of this problem.
Sure.
Not being the guy all year long that was consistent and being, providing some play action passes and some, consistency at that position. But Rodgers hasn't been very good. I know the line's been bad, but he's been skittish in the pocket. His accuracy percentage has been way down.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that type of an impact when guys go down in New England. Tom Brady doesn't go out there and throw 20% worse in terms of completion percentage.
True, but there's clearly a lull in Brady's numbers when Gronk is out of the game.
Yes, there is, but not his productivity as a quarterback for the team. They win games still.
Well, the Green Bay Packers are in the playoffs and have won plenty of games this year.
I'm not trying to say Aaron Rodgers isn't a great quarterback. I'm just curious about the situation there, and just want to make sure we're seeing something from Aaron Rodgers fantasy-wise that is going to be interesting for next year, at a minimum, for fantasy owners, right? Because you're going to go into the season, Jordy Nelson will be back, they'll have made changes, and then what do we do with him?
For Jordan? Wait, sorry.
For
Jordy,
Aaron Rodgers. For Aaron Rodgers.
We're talking about. I still take him.
Yeah, I take him.
I
think put it this way: when we're putting together our lists of where the quarterbacks are, I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be my number one quarterback next year.
Yeah, he'll still be a top 3.
He's going to pass Cam Newton. He's going to pass Carson Palmer, who's going to come back into the same offense.
Yeah, I think so. It's too early to tell for sure.
See,
but I think
that is 100% then, what is that? Seniority to me.
Yeah,
fantasy seniority where
Yeah.
he has. But this is what we didn't want people to do with luck. But Rodgers obviously has a much more sustainable pattern of
his track
success.
record and the year after year after year success, and then losing your number one wide receiver, and then basically he's fallen to what, like the 6th best quarterback this year. I mean, we look at him right now like he's garbage.
No, not at all.
Because
not at all.
I do. I mean, I'm just saying by comparison of
Draft position.
of draft position and past and history, I just don't think it's going to stick here for Aaron Rodgers.
He's 7 in our league format, so
Yeah.
6 points per touchdown.
6 in standard.
Okay, so the guys ahead of him right now are. You guys tell me.
Carson
just projecting to next year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cam Newton.
Cam's going to be super high.
Okay, but Tom Brady, you would take Rodgers over Brady. You guys both answer this.
I probably will.
Rodgers over Brady. Russell Wilson.
Definitely take Rodgers.
Yeah, I'll take him over
Russell
Russell.
Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
Rodgers.
Blake Bortles will be.
And then
Blake Bortles is going to be very interesting just to see where he gets drafted at all.
Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
Same type of a thing.
To me, I feel like Tom Brady, Cam Newton, and Aaron Rodgers, those are the 3 guys that will. One of those 3 is going to be my number one quarterback.
I would take all 5. The only one out of those 5 I would not take above Aaron Rodgers is probably Blake Bortles, because that one doesn't make a lot of sense. You put a weapon back on Rodgers' team. He still had a couple huge games this year, but then you take those out and you're like, okay, you get rid of a 47 and a 44, because that kind of represents the consistency week to week. Just hasn't been they have off years. Peyton's done the same thing. He bounces, comes off a 50 touchdown season to 29, and then he's back up the next year. Brady's done that too. He's not always been fantasy relevant. So Rodgers is obviously an incredible quarterback, and he's been very consistent. So he'll be at that top echelon. But interesting discussion I didn't see coming there.